Get this. Last night, I walked around Broadway and asked a bunch of strangers, like the basics of, well, talk to me about in your daily life, what kind of wood or wood products do you encounter or do you use? Mm-hmm. I'm sure everybody uses toilet paper.
Yeah. Have you ever pooped? Yes. But in a lot of other countries, they don't use toilet paper.
But they have a home.
You go to Middle East.
Yeah.
It's like, and I'm not a fan of that. Or Indonesia, they didn't have it either.
You got to buy it or what?
No, they just use every toilet has a little
bidet
sprinkler. Yeah. And I don't know how to use that. I need somebody to show me, but it's like, it's not something I'm going to ask somebody to give me a tutorial about. And I'm not looking that up on the internet.
Yeah. I grew up in the Northwest. Yeah. Almost 30 years of my life in the Northwest.
Yeah.
And for me personally, I love the Northwest. I love the trees, the nature. I fell in love with what I call the wood world in the Northwest. I grew up there. I wasn't born there. I was born in Russia. But my parents immigrated to the Northwest when I was 5. And then that's all I know is the Northwest. And we talk about the hot and humid Florida, but I deliberately moved to Florida because 9 months out of the year in the Portland area, you get gray and gloomy and it's 50 degrees and there's a drizzle. Mm-hmm. And then it goes up and down from there.
Yeah.
Whereas in Florida, we see sun all the time.
Yeah. This it's not even the warmth for me. It's the sun.
Yeah.
Like I grew up with the sun in Phoenix.
Okay.
And then I moved away now in Nashville. It's like, it's still sunny a lot, but even just a week without the sun in winter, it's miserable. I don't do very well with that. Now that I've once you have the sun, you don't want to go back. And so I feel like I've regressed and my body's not very happy with it come winter, but then come summer, it's just like, oh, this is so not, it's like for the first time in my life, I've realized the sun is like a vitamin and I'm lacking that vitamin. It is.
Vitamin D.
I'm lacking that. It's the first time in my life I've ever lacked it. And so all winter, it's just a grind. And then you come into spring and summer and it's just like, I just feel so much better. Like, oh, yes, this is so needed. So yeah. I don't blame you moving to Florida at all. And Florida, politically speaking, post 2020 is a lot more reasonable, especially Washington, even just like from a tax standpoint, from an employment standpoint, it's a tough state.
It is.
They're not making it easy.
No.
Yeah.
Not by any means. I got some big lumber companies that I was just meeting with there.
Yeah.
So I do business travel and I take my family on some of the trips. Sawmills are not in the downtown Nashville kind of places, right? They're not in the big cities.
Sure.
So on a special occasion, I'll take the family with me when it's like a convention or a nice place that we can go to. So anyways, we just came back from the Northwest with the family. While I'm there, we're hanging out with both sides of the family. My brother's, she's got a large family as well. Grandparents are hanging out with the kids. And then I'm always trying to post about where I am and companies reach out to me. Mm-hmm. Just probably very similar story to yourself.
Yeah.
I'm in whatever city, like I'm in Portland, Oregon area. And I get hit up with like really cool companies that are inviting me that have something to do with the wood world. So even though we're there like to go see family, my daily schedule kind of like books up pretty quick.
Yeah.
Guys reach out and they say, straight example, company in Oregon called Oregon Tool. Mm-hmm. They make chainsaw chain.
Ah.
And the guy reaches out and tons of people reach out to you as well. And so it's like, hey, come here, visit us, do this. And the guy reaches out and he set a hook that was really nice. He says, we make enough chain to go around the planet 1.5 times every year. And I'm like, you got my attention.
That's a lot of chainsaw chain.
I'm telling you.
That's a lot of little teeth.
I'm telling you.
Wow.
So I said, I'm game.
Yeah.
So anyways, stuff like that comes up all the time. I'm coming to Nashville. Uh-huh. I did a poll on my LinkedIn account. It was like, who's going to be at this conference that I'm here in town for? SFPA. And this gal that I've been communicating, she works at a pallet making company. Mm-hmm. And she reaches out, Kate, and says, when are you going to be in Nashville? I'll drop everything and make it happen. They own several facilities making pallets, like for logistics.
Yeah.
And I would love for you to come out and see our location. So we're coordinating that and making it happen. So my point is, wherever I end up going, I'm posting about it, and then companies are reaching out and saying, stop by, visit us. So I try to bring the family to as much things as I can, but it's kind of hard to bring 3 little kids.
Yeah, to like the middle of nowhere, South Carolina, where you're like, man, this is out here.
Yeah.
Because that's where
South
where
Carolina,
going down.
Yeah, but last summer, my wife and I, we went up to like the Banff area up in Canada.
Nice.
Middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
But the kind of middle of nowhere that I really like.
Yeah, really. Yeah, that's a little bit.
Or Whistler, right?
Yeah,
Whistler's. There are a lot of trees.
There are a lot of trees, and the logging up in the Northwest it could not be more different from the Southeast. Like 2 totally different worlds.
It's a different philosophy.
Like they're working with trees, and that's where the similarities end. Like it is wild how different it is. And
Absolutely.
Maybe it's not, but like I know enough to be dangerous.
Sure.
I don't know very much, but I know enough to be dangerous. I've seen logging in both environments. And it is just everything, like even like especially economically, which drives everything else. But
sure.
There's just so much more money up in the Northwest. From like there's more volume in the Southeast, but it is cheap. It is so cheap.
Yep.
Whereas Northwest, you got some fancier stuff. You can ball out a little bit more. It's a higher end product.
It is a higher end product. I think that from a differences perspective to the way I see it, or the way we could let the audience think about it, is if you think about topography, the South is a lot more flat, if you will. Whereas in the Pacific Northwest, I was visiting a contractor logging in Aberdeen, Washington, kind of towards the coast. And I mean, we're talking about like, there's a valley, and they have to have a giant drone fly this guide wire across the valley, a couple 1,000 feet. Then they're pulling this giant cable across. Yeah. And then as they're there's a feller buncher on the slopes tied to a tethering machine, probably it's like a cat or something. Giant winch sending this feller buncher up and down this super steep slope, dropping those trees, felling them, and then making sense of the pattern of how he's felling them, if he's a good operator. And then there's a yarder, they call it. And a yarder is, this giant carriage that comes down and basically grabs those trees, the stems, and brings them up to the landing. Yeah. So there's a whole bunch of operational stuff. And I mean, these trees are heavy.
Well, they're much bigger than the Southeast, and it's a much longer growing cycle. Yes. Usually like 50 years, 40, 50 years.
50 is a good number, yeah.
In the Southeast, more. It's like 20 to 30.
25, 30, yeah.
25, 30.
So for pine.
Yeah, it's like decades more. And then like the terrain is so steep, the guys in the equipment, like the guy in the feller buncher is wearing a 5-point harness. And if that cable, like the cable, so the machine is quite literally suspended by that winch that's at the top of the hill. Yes. So it's a steel cable that is attached to that very expensive, very big machine, very powerful machine. Yeah. And from the cable to the machine is a chain, typically a very strong steel chain, so that because the feller buncher, it has a disc cutting head and a disc rotating at whatever, like 100 miles per hour or something like that. Yeah. And it's really heavy. I mean, it's enough to go through a tree at the snap of your finger. Pretty quick. One of my favorite sounds in the world is a feller buncher hitting a tree. It's just like, oh man, that one of my favorite sounds. But they have this chain so that the feller buncher doesn't accidentally cut the steel cable, because if the feller buncher cuts the steel cable, that machine's rolling off the side of the mountain, which has happened like quite a few times. It's just, and that's the environment they're working in. Yeah. All day. Yeah. You say all day. Those guys literally get to the landing at like 3 a.m. Yeah. Yeah. Well, a lot of the time is at night. Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. In the dark. And that they have like crazy lighting packages on these machines too. It looks wicked. They're running in the dark, and it's far north. So especially in winter, I mean,
And if you want to see some
More
really
dark
cool
than sun.
custom machines, I was just touring a shop in Kelso, Washington, or Kelso, Longview area, Washington.
Mhm.
And there's a company called Summit. And this guy named Eric is like pioneering what's possible with logging. So it used to be that there's guys down there felling trees by hand. They're called
Yeah.
fellers.
Yeah.
Or what are they called? Hand fell. The guys that are cutting the trees with a chainsaw, what people usually think about when you think about logging.
Yep.
Well, that's dangerous, as we both know. There's a lot of dangerous jobs.
No.
So what's cool is this guy, Eric, that I've now become friends with, gave me a tour of what they're doing to make it safer and using technology. And I mean, labor shortages, it's hard to get good people. It's hard to get people in general, right? And then to train those people, all this stuff is an issue in your world, just like it is ours. So anyways, this companies like Eric, I just love to go to their, I get invited. I was a keynote speaker at the Olympic Logging Conference, and Eric was a speaker there as well. We connected, hit it off, and he's like, hey, whenever you're in town, come check out these machines that we're building. It's a full-time $1 million machine. It's similar to the cat you got here on the desk, but it's really customized for logging operations. And anyway, he was showing me around. It's fascinating. There's so much technology. There's like 15 cameras on this thing. There's like this crazy lighting package that you talk about. So it's like purpose built for logging.
Yeah, which you can get away with up in the Northwest. You can't even think about that stuff down in the South.
Yeah, I don't know how much business he does in the South, to be honest with you.
You can't even, like, it just, the economics just don't work. Like, the money's just not there. And it's crazy too. Logging in the Southeast is fascinating too, because the mills control everything. Like the guys cutting the wood, whenever lumber went nuts in COVID, because everybody was like, let's renovate our home and then you had these huge housing shortages in states like Tennessee, Florida, Carolinas, Georgia. And so these, subdivisions were going like crazy. Wood was going like crazy. The mills, the amount of money they made in just a year or a few year period.
It was a record.
Like, they were making more money in a single quarter than they had for like a decade cumulatively. Like, that's how much money they were making.
Yeah.
But then what the guys cutting the wood were getting hadn't really changed. So because it's so consolidated now, it's like you just have a few mills that you can sell to, and if they want to take the wood, if they want to buy it, it is what it is. They're gonna, the price they give you is like, what else are you gonna do? You have to take our price.
Yeah.
And I know it's just economics. I know it's just business. But it's also interesting because I've spent a lot of time with guys in the Southeast, and it's on a razor's edge, at least the producer side of things. Those that I don't know if that's the right word, but those that are cutting the wood, it hasn't changed, and it can't change because the money's just not there.
Yeah. There's a lot of great ways to... Trees are a great metaphor. So trees and... Like, for example, like you could say... Anyway, the way you were just using your words, there's a really great way to... For example, to say like we're rooted in something, we're branching out, or you know what I mean? There's a lot of great puns in this industry.
It's nonstop. So your family moved from Russia post-Soviet demise.
Dude, that
was the 90s in Russia was a wild time.
Bro. Yeah. I'm happy to talk about it. But it's really my background or my context is really what fuels a lot of what I'm doing and how I'm doing it right now. And I've never really talked about it. I'm happy to talk about it if you want to go there.
Yeah. Well, why did your parents move? Probably because I'm assuming economic conditions were pretty miserable.
Part of it. Religious persecution. So my grandfather was, during Stalin times, sent to the gulags, labor camps, to work. He lost 3 fingers in a sawmill accident. Yeah, dude. Like, my grandfather was pulled away from his wife, and he had, 4 kids or whatever. Like, they had a little one that was just born.
For religious reasons?
Yeah, because he was preaching at their church. He was a believer. He's a Christian. So you could not be Christian during the Soviet era. You had to be, you're either with the government or you're not. And
Is
so
that right? Because isn't Russia now? Isn't it a Christian?
there's a state agenda, and Christianity wasn't part of that. And so more practically, so my grandfather, my grandmother, all of their side of their families were persecuted. Crazy stories there. My parents are growing up, you know, and probably 80s, 90s. And so my parents couldn't get past grade 8 education because their teachers would go tell someone that they saw them at the small church that they were a part of at the time. And so then those kids would be told that they could not go. Like my mom wanted to pursue medical, dad wanted to go do something else.
Yeah.
He had to go to work in construction because he had to provide, and mom couldn't go get into the medical. The other layer before we get to economics is my mom did not want my brother, at the time it was my brother and I, younger brother, to get there's a required military program.
Mm-hmm.
You have to go through a year, 2 years of service or whatever.
Yeah.
People get pretty messed up coming back from that.
Sure.
So within our family, we've had that. And so while we were still kids, they started, basically America was the future. And my parents sacrificed everything that they possibly could to be able to relocate and give their kids a better new start.
Was it all Christianity they're persecuting, or was it only certain types?
Brother, if you weren't with the agenda, you were against the agenda.
Yeah, I see. Yeah. That's wild.
It's insane.
That's really
so
wild.
Think about the opportunities we take for granted. I don't, but imagine growing up here and you just got running water.
Wow.
And you got lights.
Yeah.
You're the wealthiest person on the planet, dude. That just keeps me grounded. Just my parents, my grandparents, who I actually interviewed. It wasn't a podcast or anything, but I just went and talked to my grandparents who my grandmother died, and I've got her on video telling World War II stories. She lost her mother. A sniper took out her mother and her friend in what's Crimea now.
Wow.
She was born in Russia, technically, in the Soviet times.
Yeah.
Then it became Ukraine. Now it's, I guess, Russia again.
Yeah.
Dude, there's so much context there that I just can't not have a fire lit under my ass. And I'm burning every single day. I got this insane energy. I think that's part of what fuels me.
If you're looking for another industry event that is a snooze fest, this is definitely not for you. But if you're a leader looking to elevate yourself, your team, looking for like-minded individuals that are hungry, then look no further than the Area Dirt World Summit, November 5th through the 7th in Dallas, Texas. In our third year, we'll have about 1,500 hungry industry leaders from about 500 companies looking to learn, grow, teach. It's going to be fantastic. We also have a world-class lineup. We've got Jesse Cole from the Savannah Bananas, James Clear, Atomic Habits, Kim Scott, Radical Candor, Mark Miller, Chick-fil-A Leadership, Tim Grover, who is Michael Jordan's trainer. You will not hear from a lineup like this anywhere else. So check out details now, dirtworld.com. You can use code Aaron10 for 10% off any registrations, and we'll see you November 5th through the 7th in Dallas, Texas.
When they came to the States, where did they end up?
There was some kind of program. I wish I could remember all the details. I was a kid, right? I didn't have the choice.
Yeah.
But they landed in the Portland, Oregon area, because there was some religious. There was accommodations. There was some kind of food stamps. I think there was some kind of immigrant program.
Yeah, post-Soviet Union, something like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I know my parents' older siblings started to move to that area, so they just went to wherever.
I see.
There was kind of already people were getting going. I don't know why they chose Portland. I wouldn't wish anything different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was my story. That I'm gonna own it, and that's where I grew up. I grew up in the Pacific Northwest, and it's beautiful. mountains, trees.
It is gorgeous. It's
Absolutely amazing.
Oh man. Yeah. Like I said, the first time I was in Portland, then we did the Columbia River Valley there.
Yeah.
Oh my word. It has to be some of the prettiest, it has to be some of the prettiest land I've ever seen, but definitely in America. It's like a lot of people haven't been up there, like out, like get away from Portland or Seattle.
Yeah.
Like everybody goes up there and they go to like downtown Seattle. It's like, oh, for goodness sakes.
No,
like,
dude, Seattle's not a good place to go.
No, it's not. Like, especially downtown. It's like, all right, go there once, go get your picture at Pike's Place, and then you never have to go back to downtown Seattle ever again.
No, I got crazy stories about Seattle too.
Yeah, there's a lot of, and they're like in the city outside of downtown, a lot of great places. I actually quite enjoy the city, but it's like if you get just a little outside, like even like Olympic National Park.
Amazing.
It's crazy what's out there,
yes.
and just how diverse. Like Olympic, I think, is the most diverse national park in the United States because it has so many different ecosystems in one area. Like it has almost everything in one area.
Totally.
And it's just like, until I was an adult and saw it, I'm like, I had no idea this even existed. No one even talks about this stuff.
Dude, the other cool thing is there's a whole bunch of islands.
Yeah.
Did you ever go to those, like the Orcas Islands and
yes.
Anacortes is out there? There's so many cool ferries. Like you could literally drive your car into this ferry and it'll take you to all these cool islands. We rented an Airbnb with our families as kids. Like growing up, parents would like rent a beach house on the Pacific coast or do a giant road trip. And that's how I met my wife actually, is like, we were from the same church youth group, but our families, our parents connected really well. They've got a lot of kids. We've got a lot of kids. And so anyways, a couple of families would like join together and we would go rent like a giant house somewhere. So one of those trips was up to the islands.
Nice.
Like memories for life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like as a kid growing up, basically our friends group, parents had their friends group. They would rent like, I guess as big of a house as they could fit, all of us. And then we got ferry on the ferries. We went to those islands and then it's just beautiful. There's trees, there's water, there's unbelievable.
It must be a zoo with that many kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I guess it's normally a zoo with just your kids.
Yeah. Well,
so
I grew up,
no different really.
Yeah. I grew up, I'm the oldest of 5 boys.
Okay.
So we always had wrestling matches and all kinds of stuff, but I left the house kind of young.
Yeah.
And
what's young?
I got married when I was 19.
Oh, really? That is young. Yeah.
It's kind of not normal.
How old is your wife?
Same age.
Same age. So you're both 19.
19, 20 when we got married.
Did you go to school?
Say again?
College? Did you go to college or no?
Yeah, that all happened. I graduated Washington State University in Vancouver. Brand new campus. And dude, you want me to go through that? I can. Look at this. So I'll fast forward, right? So parents immigrate. I was 5.
Yeah.
Growing up, oldest of 5 boys, started like falling in love with math and science and building stuff. Like I want to touch stuff. I want to like make something. And then during high school, we had this really great Running Start program. So Battleground High School is where I was like officially registered as a student, but we were able to go to the Clark College. It was called Clark Community College in Vancouver. And basically like you could finish the rest of your high school experience with a couple of quarters of classes, and then their state's paying for it. So you just take whatever classes you want. So you get an expedited head start. So it's called Running Start. That's the program I went through.
I see.
So I started.
So it wasn't a running program. It was school related.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know you're a runner.
Yeah. Gotcha.
It wasn't running,
All right.
unfortunately. So Running Start, Running Start was amazing. So junior, senior year, I'm going to community college from Battleground, driving like 20 , 30 minutes each way.
But you're not even 18.
No.
At this point, you're just technically a high school kid.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm driving to community college and I'm taking college courses, and I was just like with all that context, right, of my parents, my grandparents, I'm like, I'm given an opportunity to get college education while I'm in high school.
Yeah.
And like get after it, and they're going to like pay for it. Like, what more do you want?
So you had the context growing up, like you understood that at that time?
Yeah. Very clearly.
Okay.
like extremely clearly. Like I'm like, I'm given this opportunity and I'm not gonna, like, I guess I didn't have an older sibling, so I didn't have somebody to set the bar. There was no bar. So for my younger four brothers, I was always feeling like, well, I'm going to try to go set the bar as high as I can.
Was that because your parents were telling you to do that, or that was just
they didn't know what I was doing?
Intrinsic.
Yeah, that was like built in, I guess. I don't know how to describe that. Wow. No, my father, Alexei Kovalev. There's going to be cool stories with Alexei Kovalev coming up, but
that's a very Russian name.
Yeah, and there's a really famous hockey player. His name's also Alexei Kovalev. There's funny stories about that. But I guess, Dad would come up and I'm like studying. I'm like doing this running start program. I'm just like books and doing like calculus or whatever and figuring out integrals and all the other crazy math. I loved it.
Integrals. I haven't thought about that
Bro.
in a long time.
Well, you brought it up. So I'm doing this like crazy math and I'm just geeking out, dude. I love it. I love to, because I saw that like the natural world that we live in is all very rational. Like it makes sense. And so I'm studying this crazy math, not for anything else, but I have to get the engineering degrees, kind of what I was pursuing. But I'm like, wow, like you can explain the world through math. Like it makes sense. And how, anyways, math is a whole other subject, right? It's like, it's not physical, but how does it exist? And how does the world make sense without math? It doesn't. Yeah. And all of that. So like, I'm figuring it out and they're teaching me. I'm like, let's get it. So going through school, and you're asking about my father. I remember a particular moment, like I'm studying, I'm like deep in the books. He comes up behind me and it's like giving me like a massage, like, like squeezing my shoulders. He's like, he's looking over my shoulder. And I'll never forget. I'm gonna like kind of paraphrase. But he says, I really don't know what you're studying, and that looks like complicated, but I'm rooting for you. He doesn't speak English that well. Now he's got, immigrants. Yeah. He speaks Russian. Russian is what we spoke at home. Мы говорим по-русски. Я могу с тобой говорить по-русски, если ты хочешь, Aaron.
It's one of my favorite languages to listen to.
It could get pretty like
I love it.
Abrupt, like
but it's
Хорош мужик.
It's a little more smooth than German.
Like, a little bit, yeah.
German's just so I say German's like everything's like 90 degrees in Germany. And even the language is just like harsh.
Pretty abrupt.
Yeah. Whereas like Russian's harsh, but it has some rounded edges to it. Yeah. Which is the best way to I can explain it.
Dude, there's the Russian, talking about the language, bro. Like growing up, I had to learn 2 languages. And like that was something my parents forced. Nothing else they forced. But they forced us to go to, I don't know, on Monday nights, it was like, I dreaded it. Monday nights, we had to go to Ruska Shkola, Russian school.
It was really? It was like English school, it was Russian school.
Yeah, so once a week, we would gather at the church basement, and there's like groups of these immigrant kids. We're learning frickin', I don't even know how to say these things in English, but like I never used them in my life, but I learned about падежи, глаголы, мягкий знак, твердый знак, like all these letters that you don't even pronounce. Like твердый знак is a letter.
So they were making you learn Russian.
And all the depths of, what comes with like frickin'.
Even though
grammar, the depths
you were in
of
America at this time.
Bro, and that's the question that my brother and I are asking our parents, like, why do we need this?
Sure.
And they're like, you'll thank us later. And we're like crying and we're just like, no, we don't want to go to this Russian school. We want to play with our friends outside.
I'm sure the teachers were throwing.
Bro, you got to like learn cursive and Russian when you're like 7. Like, while I'm trying to learn English at the same time. Like it's.
And so you go to engineering school?
I did. Yeah, it was a blast. I loved it.
What'd you get? Mechanical?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mechanical engineering. Okay. I loved it, but it was a little journey to get there because I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know I wanted to do mechanical engineering. Like I guess this kind of maybe, as I'm thinking about it now, probably a pattern in my life where like I know kind of what I want, but I don't know what it's called or how do I get there. I'm gonna figure it out. We're gonna blaze a path. So like I get to sign up for these running start courses, and I'm sitting with my cousins. We're like at a church youth camp in the middle of, like, they open up registration in the middle of the night. So we're sitting on these laptops, and I look over at my cousin Katie, and I'm like, Katie, like, what classes are you going to sign up for? She's like, here's my classes. And I'm like exhausted. I'm like, what if I sign up for those? She's like,
looks good.
that's good. So I just punched in the course numbers, and like that was my first quarter in Clark College. I was just like, and so I'm sitting there in like psychology, and they're talking about childbirth, and I'm just like, this is not useful for what I want to do for my career. Like it's useful. Don't get me wrong.
Should have researched this. Yeah.
But like medical is not my thing. And then I'm like thinking to myself, like, I'm not going to spend more time pursuing whatever she's going to pursue. Like, right. Like, so then the next quarter I meet up with an advisor. I'm like, hey, I want to do something with math and science. They're like, electrical engineering is where it's at.
Sure.
And then I'm like, sign me right up. So the next quarter I'm in electrical engineering, and I'm sitting there learning about electrons. And I'm like, this is in the right direction, but it's not tangible. Like we're going to build a circuit board. It's cool. It's useful. It's necessary. And then we were a part of the church at this point grew that I was a part of. And I knew there was a bunch of like people that had careers, and I'm like meeting up with people. I'm like, Alex, where do you work? Or Dan, like show me around where you work. And so I started getting these, I made this up. I don't know if they know that, but I said, I want to go on an official job shadow with you. And they're like, I can see if I can make that happen. Bro, I got into some really crazy places as a student.
I think, but students nowadays, like a lot of people don't realize you can wield that to your advantage, especially as you're a student.
100%, dude.
Everybody
100%.
wants to help out a student. So it's like, if you play that student card, you should wear that card out, because
oh yeah, I did.
Even the places I got into, I had no business. I think about it now. I'm like, man, I had no business being involved with these people, going to these places, creating these experiences, just because I was a student, just because I asked.
I got two crazy stories. One is a company that is actually going to be an exhibitor here at SFPA. A friend of mine was running a giant lathe, the biggest lathe you can imagine, like for machining. And a friend of mine, he's working at this company called USNR. They make sawmill equipment, USNR. So I'm like, can I go see what you do? Yeah, come on over. So I get a tour there. And as I'm with my friend at the lathe, I'm asking, this is strategy for students watching. I'm there with my friend who I know. And then I guess I'm a natural talker, networker.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, who's your boss? He's like, you want to talk to my boss? I'm like, yeah, I do. So I go talk to the boss, and I tell the boss, like, hey, I'm in college. I'm doing these things. I'm trying to figure out. He's like, I know who the guy you should meet is across the street, our headquarters. I don't know if the guy's name was Chuck or something like that, but this was years ago. He walks me over to the engineering side, like, and my friend's like blown away. He's like, you went to the engineering building? And I'm like, yeah.
You can do that?
I'm walking around the engineering building, and I hear somebody speaking in the giant, like hundreds of people, engineering, all these different departments. And this super high up gentleman is walking me through to get to a conference room, let's say, to chat. And I hear, like, we're walking by a room, and I heard Russian. And I peek in there, and there's these people from Russia getting trained on their equipment at the headquarters. And I bounce in there. I'm like, вы говорите по-русски? Вы откуда? They're like, oh, we're from like Siberia or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
Somewhere in getting trained on equipment, right? This is a global industry. So the Russian definitely helped. And I've been to like Japan selling stuff in Russian all over the world. We'll get there. But yeah, the student card, right, that you were saying. Another crazy thing is, it has nothing to do with our industry, but a friend of mine works at BPA, Bonneville Power Administration. They run like the dams and all the hydro and all the electrical grid of the Pacific Northwest. A friend of mine is like sitting behind, I don't know what their titles are, but like he's the one at the top. Like if they need to shut down a power line, they call Dan. So I talked to Dan. I'm like, Dan, can I job shadow you? You got some kind of cool job. He's like, yeah, let's make it happen. So this is like also before all the super security restrictions. So I get into this like bunker, and there's like NASA. And I've been to NASA Mission Control, the actual one in Houston, in the mission control room. That's another crazy story. I have an astronaut friend, Jeff Williams. We'll get there too. So anyways, but this access that you're talking about, yeah, like with all that said, the student card played out really well for me.
So electrical engineering was, I got into engineering because I reached out to a guy and I wanted to be like him. I asked him what he studied in college. He said engineering. So I signed up for engineering school. It was the first time I'd ever even heard about engineering school. Just the world I grew up in, no one was an engineer. Like that was like engineering is like very solid middle class, like really good middle class. Yeah. That just was not the world I was involved in. So I had never interfaced with anything like that in my entire life. And so when I say I knew nothing about engineering, I did not know a fucking thing about engineering.
Yeah.
Most importantly, I didn't know that there was math involved in engineering. I had no idea, because no one tells you, like especially when you sign up for school, no one there's not like this fun little chart that you follow. So what are you interested in? What are you good at? Oh, I like coloring. Oh, then you go down this, and all right, you have two choices. Do you like green or do you like red? Oh, I like green. And then you go down the green path, and then you end up at here's the career for you, and here's what you should study to get there.
Sure.
Like, that doesn't exist at all. The university is like, just sign up. We could give a shit what you sign up for.
We just want your money.
We just want your money. So hand it over, sign up for whatever.
They tell you go sign up for underwater basket weaving.
Well, I mean, they don't care where you go. They just want you in the door. Once they get you in the door, they just kick you into the deep end and say, good luck, but pay us. Make sure you pay us every quarter or every semester. But actually, Arizona State was very generous with how much money they gave me. They gave me too much money for my grades in high school. But sign up for engineering, not knowing a fucking thing about engineering. And then I had to take an electrical engineering prerequisite course. It was like circuits. It was pretty basic.
Yeah.
When it comes to electrical engineering.
Yep.
That was really where I learned work with what you are naturally good at. And there's going to be some things you're just not naturally good at.
True.
And the people that say, oh, you can just work hard and figure out anything, it's like, that is the course. That's the experience I had where I learned that advice is dog shit. Because I could not have worked harder in this class, and I got a D, which was passing, but I got a D. And I could not have worked harder. So I'm just not good at electrical engineering. And I've translated, I'm not good at stuff I can't see. So that's why I love the built world, because I can see it.
I love
a dozer pushing dirt. It's it
makes sense.
You don't have to imagine it. It's not these little electrons jumping around and resistors. And it's like electricity is witchcraft as far as I'm concerned.
It's the same.
It's
Agreed.
all, it's like, you're telling me it's there. I don't really see it. I can't really picture it.
That's it.
I'm not buying it. I think it's just witchcraft.
That's
Whereas
right.
Dirt, concrete, asphalt,
bridges,
pipelines, even power lines. I don't understand how the power goes from point A to point B. I've had it explained to me 100 times. I still can't explain how it works, but I can see the power line. So good enough for me.
Yeah. And they make a sound.
They do make they make a little zappy sound. Yes. Which means, there's power. It was a great experience, but it's even it's funny listening to adults talk about college, and they haven't been there in a long time. So people in their 50s.
Yes. And
so they haven't been there for 30 years. And even some of the stuff they say is you can kind of tell it's dated information. You're like, well, that's not really how it works. And even a lot of the criticism, I agree. We should be criticizing the colleges. They have royally, I think, fucked a whole generation. However, I think they're overly criticized in a lot of ways too. There's a lot of good that can come out of it.
Well, listen, I don't know about everybody's experience. I had an amazing experience in college.
Yeah,
and
it
wasn't due to the fact that I was partying. I had no time. I think in college, I remember there was this triangle graphic I saw. There was you either choose sleep, relationships, or good grades. And I tried to choose all of them, but I really suffered with sleep. My relationship, I just got married.
Everybody suffers with sleep.
I just turned 19 in the summer. And then I just turned 19 July 1st. And then July 14th, we get married. So I finished that Running Start program. I graduated high school. And then that's actually a really key moment of my life, because that's how I found out about this, what now I call the wood world. That was really the trigger point, I guess, if you trace it all the way back. So graduating high school, that was June probably. I'm looking on Craigslist. I'm graduating, right? And I'm thinking, what do engineers do? At this point, I've toured enough people's jobs and did the job shadow thing. And then I'm thinking to myself, well, what are the requirements to get a job? Mm-hmm. What should I do career-wise? And so I open up Craigslist, go to the ads for jobs, and search engineering. And I'm looking down this list, and Craigslist full of scam and spam and whatever.
Dude, I spent all of high school on Craigslist buying
Same.
and selling aquarium stuff.
Yeah. And I was
It
flipping
was out of
phones.
control. Yeah.
I was flipping phones
Yeah.
from anyway, so we're going down and then I see this thing called engineering internship. And I was like, what the heck is engineering internship? Sounds like a scam to me. So I open up this ad and it's a post about we're going to pay some high school kid or a summer job if you want. And you're going to be assembling lasers and cameras and building this thing. And I'm like, that sounds too good to be true.
Mm-hmm.
Why the heck not? I apply. They have me out for an interview on a Friday. I fell in love with this company called JoeScan. I owe them. Joey Nelson is the guy behind JoeScan. But essentially, I get wrapped up into this amazing world of wood through this company called JoeScan. They make a 3D laser scanner. So there's cameras, electronics that scans. See how this tree has a lot of natural live edges, we call it, right?
Yeah.
Well, imagine when the bark is still there and it's just a log. Trees don't grow perfectly straight. And so they're all organic shapes, right? Which makes the math a lot of fun. Anyway, so how do you get square things out of a circle thing? And so that's the name of the game. And so you have to optimize your resource. And so JoeScan you could think of it as the eyes, these scanners that have a laser. So imagine here's the tree, right? This table. If this was a full tree, you'd have a laser line coming from this device, hitting this tree. And then there's a camera off to the side that's taking pictures really quickly, right? That's how video works. So we're taking a couple thousand pictures per second of this laser. So the laser flashes on and off and the camera captures it with a bunch of fancy math called triangulation. We're figuring out data points that are crazy precise, crazy accurate. And then so we build this point cloud with this device that then a software takes over. So we, with this JoeScan company, are basically generating a point cloud.
Kind of a three-dimensional model. For lack of a better term.
Yeah, just kind of in the simplest
what the tree
ways.
looks like. You're putting the tree in the computer.
Yes.
So
that's a good way to explain it.
Yeah.
So that we were the hardware, right? The eyes, you could say. And so you need to see it from all 360. So you need 4 devices that are looking down at this log, and then it's going to come flying down this primary and feed or primary breakdown process, or it could even be out in the log yard. Anyway, so as a stem approaches a mill, it goes through there's a whole lot of technology and automation, which is something that young people don't understand.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of fancy math and a bunch of engineers that make this device work. I'll get to that in a minute, but I see this Craigslist post, right? And I go interview and I'm like, they're going to, again, with the context, right? They're going to pay me to do this cool stuff. And I get to build something that goes to frickin' the southern tip of New Zealand. I've personally been to a whole bunch of places around the world because of this company, JoeScan. Because, okay, well, here's how I usually explain to people. They're like, what do you do? And I'm like, well, think about it like this. If you were to zoom out and you look at the whole earth as a blue ball, there's blue and there's green. Blue's the water. Green is probably tree canopy. And wherever there's trees on the planet, there's people harvesting them and making stuff out of them. And as you and I know, wood fiber is used in so many different things in our daily lives. It's just people don't even think about it.
Yeah. I mean, that goes back to the previous point too. When you're in college, there's not how to find a career 101 class where it's all right, so you're going to go get this engineering degree. We're going to explain to you, we're going to help you find what you're passionate about within this field. And then we're going to line you up with a job. I was like, that's not at all how it works either. It's you're kind of on your own, which I'm fine with, honestly, because that's how the world works.
Yeah.
You eat what you kill. That is how the world works. So if you want a great job, you go figure it out. But I think a lot of people are lied to into thinking, I think it's just society as a whole, really, that people are going to take care of things for them. But it's no. Your future is your responsibility. Yep. If you're putting that in anybody else's hands, that is a recipe for disaster. Yep. A recipe for disappointment. There's no that's to me insane to go put your future into somebody else's hands. But then you have to do stuff like that, which means you have to go scour Craigslist.
Yeah.
Or talk to people or call people.
And it's uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable. I don't know though. I don't know. For me, I am not good at talking to people. I don't like talking to people.
I was super shy growing up.
I still am not a big fan. And I say that like that's my nature. I enjoy talking to people, but that my nature is not to just go up to somebody. Like I have a friend, Kevin, we'll go out for a meal and it's like, he can't not talk to fucking everybody. And it's like, you almost have to smack him sometimes. Like, Kevin, this woman's here to just take our fucking order. Like we don't need to talk to her about life. We just need to tell her we want a pizza and that's good.
Yeah. That's American culture though.
But there are some people that are just like, they just love talking to people. I'm naturally not that way.
Sure.
But to me, for whatever reason, I had no problem. So what I struggled with most is talking to people my age, but older people, no problem at all. Because I grew up around a lot of my friends' dads. So it was like kind of like talking to my friends' dads.
Yeah.
I just grew up with these older guys.
Yeah.
And I'd be at these tables with these older people. And so it was, to me, that was totally normal. But like talking to a girl my age, forget it, dude. No way. But talking to some 52-year-old man worth $200 million, easy. Like,
yeah,
I'm not even going to think twice about it.
Yeah. Because they could teach you something. You could learn something. Like, that's my mindset too. As a young guy, I was just like, they know something I don't, and I'm going to go figure it out.
Yeah. You start to go down this path of curiosity, and then it's almost like a drug in a way.
Bro.
Like, whoa, I can just sit down with somebody, take them to lunch, and just learn a bunch of shit. This is wild.
Yeah.
And nowadays you have, it's progressed even substantially. Like, we're not even that old, but even like the information that's available with podcasts right now, I think about that. I write about that all the time. Just like the access to information today is insane. But nothing beats just sitting down with somebody and being like, so I'm a kid. I'm a dumb kid. I'm trying to figure out my life. What do I do? And then just shutting up.
Yeah. Well, if
and then there you go.
Yeah, man. And I feel like looking back at my story, I didn't plan it this way. I can't say like I'm some super, I didn't have this like strategy, like you said, that like somebody set me up with, and here's your path. But looking back, I think there were some key moments that I totally, when folks are trying to figure out, even now in like the youth group or the church that I'm part of now in Florida, younger folks would come up and they're like, what do I do? I'm like, go find yourself a job and do stuff, like internship.
Yes.
And like, go start doing stuff. And you'll figure out if you love it or you hate it. And it's like, you start scoping down, I don't like that. Like, it's not just what you like to do. You got to figure out what you don't like to do.
Yeah. Yeah. I that's how I frame it. It's like, just find a thread to pull and start pulling. And you start to, man, this sucks, or I'm not good at this.
Sure.
And then you have this other tangent over here that you've discovered through doing. That's like, I'm kind of curious about this, and like following curiosity is so amazing, so important. And a lot of people don't, because you've got to listen and you've got to do, and you've got to screw things up. Like it's an iterative process, but if you can just follow that intuition and curiosity through doing, man, it's cool. But a lot of people sit around like, man, so what do I do? They're trying to like think about it. Or they're trying to plan it. Like, no, that's not how it works. You've got to go gather data. You have no data.
Yeah.
So how are you to figure this out? You have this whole equation you've got to figure out, a very complicated equation that is like your life.
You got to,
it's very complicated.
And you got to reverse engineer yourself.
Yeah, but you're like, oh, I'm gonna solve this equation with and it's all variables right now, and I have no numbers for those variables. Like, well, then. It doesn't work that way. It's impossible. Yeah. You can't do it. You got to go start solving for some of these variables. And then you can plug those variables in. Going back to math and engineering, which I hate. And then you can solve for it.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
And I would say how is, practically speaking, is go try stuff and go fail, go start something, go do something, go write, whatever it is. Wouldn't you agree? Like, get out there and actually start taking steps to fill in those variables. Yeah.
Yeah. And everybody has something they can start pulling at. Everybody has something they can
especially
start
with
pulling.
access with their phones and everything. It's just
Yeah. I see a lot of people struggle with that. And then what's even worse is when people struggle with that when they're like in their careers, they're like midway through and they're just looking around like, oh no, this isn't it. But then they're stuck.
and I
Because they're
hate to
making good money.
see.
They've got 5 kids at home.
Yeah, and I hate to see it, like, but I've lived this part too, where I did the engineering thing very naturally, and like I wasn't looking for a title. I just was like, this is my skill set. This is what I like. I enjoy these things. Let me pursue something in that direction.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I know guys from that same youth group that I grew up in went and got engineering degrees to become an engineer and hated it.
Yeah. I know a
And
lot of people.
finished their engineering degree and like dreaded it all the way through. I loved it, dude.
Sure. Well, there's a lot of tangents even within engineering. Like you've got to go try out engineering. There's just so many. I mean, that was the best advice I got was from Rich Pearson. I've talked about 100 times. He's like, go try a bunch of stuff because you just don't know. All right, you want to be in construction. That's great. You just don't know what you want to do within construction. There's a million things you can do.
Yeah.
You don't know. And I can't tell you because I don't know you.
Yeah.
So you just have to go out. And I was like, well, I know I want to do heavy machines. So screw buildings, screw houses. I'm going into dirt.
Yeah.
Which was okay. I could at least cross those off pretty quick. But then getting into dirt, it's just like, whoa, this is a big world. And there's so many things I can do and so many different types of companies.
100%.
I go work for this massive multinational company, or I could work for a mom and pop operation in Battlefield, Washington with a crew, 12 people total at the company and try to help them get to the next generation. Like, and then everything in between.
Yeah.
There's just so much to do. And even for you, probably people are always like, wow, that's a nice little niche. Like, oh, wood, like good for you. Wow, that's so cute. But like, listen, lady, this is a big place. There's a lot going on here.
Tons.
You can do anything. You can live your life without it.
Yeah.
And all the intricacies now. And it's just, and as you get further in, like, I mean, I go out to so many job sites, and every time I go out to a job site, I'm learning something that I had no idea about. Like even the other day, I've seen lime and cement stabilization 100 times over, but I had never asked the question. They were doing both lime and cement on this site. I had never asked the question like, so how do you determine how you use it? And maybe I have, but it was the first time it clicked. It was like lime dries, cement binds. Like, oh, and now it's like, I get it. Yeah. I get it. But it's like,
light bulb moment.
I'd seen it so many times though. And it's like, man, I'm out here learning. And it's so much fun. There's just more and more and more and more and more to learn.
Yeah, no, I definitely thought the same about, oh, it's just cute. Like this wood industry.
Yeah.
And dude, I didn't even want to pursue wood industry. To be genuinely honest with you, like I was growing up in Portland, like I was telling you about. In Portland, the outskirts of Portland, but that region. And then in Portland, you could think about big fancy companies. Nike's headquarters are there. Mm-hmm. Adidas. You've got all these really cool companies.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Starbucks up the road. And
I was just thinking, okay, cool. This engineering thing, we'll figure it out. Let me get into engineering. I want to build products. I want to do stuff that's tangible, whether it's a phone or a product or whatever. And for some reason, early days, it started to click. Like I wish, like one of my bucket list items was like to design, to develop, to build something to be proud of. Mm-hmm. And for some reason, maybe it's my whatever. I thought I want a plaque. I want a plaque. This is the only plaque I ever wanted with my own patent. I want to invent something. And I got to check off that box. I'll tell you all about it.
Okay, yeah. How's that gone for you?
I have that. You could look it up.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
So I applied the engineering. Like this is. You can't falsify it. You can't. It just comes deep within. I don't know how to explain it. But like the point is, I get this internship for that summer. I'm like, summer's coming to an end, and I'm like, Joey, like, I love what I'm doing. One of the first things, like my first day on the job, like they gave me like a rag and said like, clean these banner stands. I'm like, what are we doing with these banner stands? Why is it? And they're like, we're going to a trade show. What's a trade show? Mm-hmm. Well, that's where we go to like tell the world about who we are. Why do you need to do that? And so my curiosity is, I have an insatiable curiosity.
Yeah.
that leads me into all kinds of places. And so I'm like, okay, cool. We got this device, and you need devices to scan the trees so that you can optimize. It's called an optimization process. Like I said, trees are organically shaped. You're trying to extract as much value as you can from every one.
Yeah, you're trying to get as many rectangles out of the circle.
True. But those rectangles, yeah, absolutely. And then there's so much depth there.
Yes. Yeah. It's a lot more complicated than
Totally.
that, but it's a geometry problem. You want as many rectangles
Yes,
out of a circle
totally.
as you can get.
Yeah.
But the circle's imperfect.
You know what? A good way to talk about it is like, it's called deconstructive manufacturing. So think about a steak. Think about a cow.
Yes.
How do you get a steak? You got to deconstruct a cow.
That's
So-
a very kind way of putting it. Yes. Yeah.
Well, usually when you're building a product or whatever, right? You gotta
You're
build
building
it
You're
up.
sure.
You take components as an engineer, you're designing whatever, you're putting these widgets together, and you get a 3D scanner or an iPhone or whatever. Whereas making steaks, it's the opposite. And so that's the way you got to think about lumber. Lumber comes from an organic shape that's grown naturally, and it could be this wonky banana looking thing.
Sure.
And then you get it to a mill. Well, how do you extract as much value as you can?
I mean, mining's similar. It's you're going after an ore body, and the ore body is not this beautiful cone shaped. Sometimes, actually, it is sometimes cone shaped in like northern Canada with the diamond mines. But your pit is a cone because that's how you have to build a pit. But your ore body is not a cone, and so you're trying to build the cone to then target as much of the ore body as possible.
Sure.
And to make it economical.
Yeah.
So you're deconstructing the earth essentially
Ooh,
to extract
powerful.
that ore body,
Yep.
which is highly variable. And the grade varies based on where you're at as well.
So talking about grade,
So it's kind of similar.
there's a lot of
Wood
grade
grade.
in lumber.
Yeah, sure.
And so you're trying to have you're trying to minimize defects and maximize value
Yeah.
with every square thing you make.
Which they don't do at the Home Depot lumber section. They just take whatever they want.
Bro, there's a lot of depth there too. But yes. Yeah.
I just had to throw some shade to Home Depot. Buying a straight 2x4 there is mission impossible.
And I was just picking up some lumber at my local Lowe's I was building what were we building recently? I did a laundry project. I did in the garage, I built a workbench with my kid, my 7-year-old boy. He's like using the impact and anyways, yeah, we went out to Lowe's. Home Depot's down the street too, but
Yep.
looking at all the boards and like, I know these names. I know what these like grade stamps mean. It's super cool. That's one of my favorite aisles in a store. And when I go shopping is to go to the lumber area.
My two favorites are plumbing, the PVC aisle. Love me some PVC, and then and lumber as well. Because I would use a lot of that stuff for aquariums, like the aquarium stuff I used to do and still do. It's all you build it all yourself, which was great. So I was just living at Home Depot. I love Home Depot, huge fan. But
Yeah,
the plumbing aisle and then the lumber aisle.
I should be a Home Depot influencer.
Nah, they don't need me. They're doing just fine. They're doing okay. So you end up in this.
Yeah.
You're not that old. How old are you?
So I get the job, and I actually went and told the owner of the company privately. I was like, Joey, I'm not even 18 yet.
Yes.
Is that legal?
Yes.
He goes, you'll be fine. So that was right before I turned 18. I get this job at Joe Scan. And like I say, first day, I'm wiping down these, like, we're getting ready for a trade show. And then I'm exposed to this massive industry. Well, let's put it this way. What I define as the wood world is everything from the seedlings, the baby trees, to forestry, to sawmilling.
The finished product.
And there's so many value streams that branch out. Like residuals are turned into paper. You've got pallets and pellets. You've got lumber itself. You got all these cabinets and furniture and flooring, and it's a huge world, right? That's what I call the wood world. And then I guess it's just like, I'll use the word God's providence. I didn't plan it this way.
Yeah.
To be positioned right in the perfect dead middle of the whole thing. And in a sawmill, like, I mean, all the equipment vendors at the show I'm going to be at, everybody wants to say that without me, it's not going to work. But without the eyes of the system, you can't like have this giant machine position it and do all this cool cutting unless you know what you're holding.
Well, even where you were from I mean, that's one of the most productive forestry areas in the entire world.
Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, Pacific Northwest is, I mean, I know the Southeast too is one of the most productive, if not the most productive.
I would say Alabama is like, well, yes, to answer your question, the West Coast is really productive with forest products.
Yeah.
The South, I usually like to refer to Alabama as the Saudi Arabia of wood.
Yes. Yeah. Just from a volume standpoint,
Yeah.
I don't think anywhere else in the world beats the Southeast.
Yeah.
United States, but their products are usually different. It's a lot of pulp and pellets, and they're still making some,
I would say,
dimensional.
Lumber-wise, I don't have the exact stats in front of you, but my estimation is that 2/3 of the United States lumber production is here in the South. From like Texas through the southern states, northern Florida into the Carolinas.
Yep.
That's I would say the southern wood basket. There's a lot of mills, a lot of privately owned timberland, etc., which is very unique. And then on the West Coast, I just interviewed Red Emerson. He owns 2.4 million acres on the West Coast.
It's bananas. But the West Coast, there's been some dramas out on the West Coast too. The West Coast is kind of killing itself. It's like, I mean, you probably talked about that with Red. Like California is a great example of what not to do when it comes to forestry. But then even the whole, all the owl stuff, and then even, I mean, just how much we import, like the tariff stuff. They're like, oh no, the tariffs. We can't tariff lumber because we import so much from Canada. They're such an important trading partner when it comes to critical things like lumber. But it's like, I'm sitting there knowing full well, it's like, we don't need to import lumber from Canada. That's completely unnecessary. We have lumber like coming out our ears, man. We've got trees on trees on trees as much as we want.
The United States can and should be like a supplier to the rest of the world with amount of abundance of forest products or forests that we have that could be turned into forest products instead of letting them burn.
Yeah, letting them burn, or then we start to, you just mismanage forests.
That's it.
And then you go get the stuff from Canada.
Trump calls it raking the forest. It's called forest management.
But then you're absorbing a lot of Canada's production, which should be going elsewhere. And so that now elsewhere needs wood. Everybody's still consuming it. Yeah. And now they're going after it in unproductive forests or forests that aren't nearly as productive or in less than savory ways.
Or not managed and sustainably harvested and all these practices that we have.
Yeah, exactly. And they go get it however the hell they want to go get it. Yeah. And it's so like the whole chain, it just degrades the whole thing. And it's like us acting like it's our environment here and their environment there. It's like, no. It's just the environment, you dum-dum. It's all one place. Yeah. and then the spotted owl thing is crazy. Oh, I'm kind of on a soapbox right now, but the spotted owl thing's insane because it's like, it's been proven to be completely wrong.
Yeah. The owl thing, bro.
Totally wrong. But it just like murdered the most important industry to this entire very vital region within America.
Yeah, man. Politics, economies of scale, like it's all very interesting to me.
Yes.
Ecology, you mentioned sustainability. Get this. Last night, I walked around Broadway and asked a bunch of strangers, like the basics of, talk to me about in your daily life, what kind of wood or wood products do you encounter or do you use? Mm-hmm. I'm sure everybody uses toilet paper.
Yeah. Have you ever pooped? Yes. But in a lot of other countries, they don't use toilet paper.
But they have a home.
You go to Middle East. Yeah. It's like, and I'm not a fan of that. Or Indonesia, they didn't have it either.
You got to buy it or what?
No, they just use every toilet has a little bidet sprinkler. Yeah. And I don't know how to use that. I need somebody to show me, but it's like, It's not something I'm going to ask somebody to give me a tutorial about, and
No?
I'm not looking that up on the internet.
Yeah.
And so it's but yes, in America, that's the gold standard. Before we go down that route, though,
Yep.
I just want to.
We have a lot of threads. Let's put on the one you want.
Well, I just want to tie a bow on. So and it'll go a little fast, but you end up in like the sawmill world from an engineering standpoint
As an intern.
Yep. But then you work your way through the wood products business.
Well, get this. Yeah.
Like, where do you end up,
dude,
within the wood products business before you go off and run around doing what you're doing now?
Okay. So let me try to piece that together for you real quick. I get in as an intern. I fall in love with the industry. I get exposed to the trade shows, and the owner of the company, for some reason, I guess liked me and took me to all kinds of cool places around the planet. And then as I became an engineer, I was an engineer on staff.
Mm-hmm.
And
so you get into mechanical engineering.
So customers reach out and they're like, hey, we are doing this application. We need to scan like this. They give us our specs. And I'm the one like behind the scenes figuring it out, testing it in the shop with my hands, building a scan frame, testing it out. We had all kinds of cool stories there. Like people, yeah, anyways. And then it's time to go deploy. So like we'd go to the field and like, not always, but we'd have partners to like, we send the devices out and the integrator partner like builds the device or builds the scan frame and gets it going. But sometimes I had the great opportunity to be like, Joey, I want to go out there and see it myself. He's like, go for it. He bought me the boots, and sometimes I'd go with him or others on the team or just our integrated partners and see the real world. Mm-hmm. Cool stories all across the world. So like one cool story is Joey and I end up going to Australia, Melbourne, and New Zealand, Rotorua for conventions there. But then also we went and saw some customers. So I got to see New Zealand is a beautiful country, top to bottom. And Joey and I went literally like, it was just him and I. We went to the show, and then I think before the show started, we went to the southern tip of New Zealand, and guess what's there? A little city called Invercargill, a little community, and they have a sawmill. And we were there working on 3D scanners and getting their system going. Anyways, like this particular scanner device gets installed in all these different sawmills because everybody's automating, because everybody's needs the automation for various reasons. And that took me around the planet. As
an engineer. So you're going to all these mills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm there for the technical reason. I'm solving their problems.
Sure.
So I get to quickly figure out, okay, well, scanners are used at the front end of the process, like in the log yard. Then you take a stem and you bucket into logs. So from a stem, you make logs. Logs are then fed into a primary process. There's scanners at every step. You got scanners that scan and like, again, make that 3D image of the log. That log moves into what's called the primary breakdown. You got these giant knives spinning, makes two flat sides on the edge usually, and these high production mills anyways. And then you could have a series of bandsaws right after that peel off Anyway, I can walk you through the whole process of how you make lumber. Yeah. There's profilers. There's some really cool companies with amazing innovations that use all this technology. So I guess I tell people now, like, you could like wake me up in my sleep and I can walk you through how you step by step make lumber. Because as an engineer, I was exposed to that, and I was there solving their problems, which were fascinating to me. To fast forward and kind of tie a bow, like you asked, with all that experience, I got a chance to go to the field and then come back to the playground, to the home office in Vancouver, and I'd be like, hey guys, like the customers had these kinds of issues. What if we solved them? What if we made it easier for our integrator partner, instead of having 4 cables coming into this device, and like we were in like a Amish sawmill in Pennsylvania installing 3D laser scanners, which was it was a cool story.
They can use 3D laser scanners?
That was my question. And so
they all have different rules too, depending on where you're at. Yeah. Depending on what they believe in. Like some can't use rubber tires, others can. It's hard to keep up with, but there's a lot of quirks. Yeah, there is. And so as we're arriving, okay, I'm on my way with an integrator partner heading to an Amish sawmill in Pennsylvania. As we're like on the road, like heading from the hotel in the morning, I remember I'm asking the guys in the car, I'm like, hold on a second, guys, we're in Pennsylvania. We're heading to an Amish sawmill.
and we're going to install 3D laser scanners and a computer package and then all this optimization software on their on their carriage.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah. I'm like, but aren't they Amish?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Aren't they off the grid? They are. And I'm like, it doesn't make any sense to me. So as soon as I got there, I find the mill manager, kind of a younger guy, maybe 40s. And I was like, I think his name was Jake. I was like, Jake, so we're here installing 3D laser scanners, right? And he's like, yep. I'm like, and you're Amish, right? Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, how are you going to be, isn't it against the rules? He's like, well, we have to compete with the market and the other mills around us. So we're the advanced Amish. I don't remember exactly how he said it, but they were off the grid. Like there wasn't like a power line to the main grid, but there was a diesel generator bigger than this room out back that was running the whole show. So take it as you will. So anyways, my experience from that particular project was fascinating because like it was, I think, winter. So I had this like Carhartt jacket on and my boots and doubled up on the pants. And I remember this is one of the key things for me. As an engineer, I'm in the field. My customer's there, like a couple of guys installing it. There's a cab, an operator's cab, not too dissimilar from the operator cabs in the big machines. So it's not that big. Mm-hmm. And there's a whole bunch of wires coming in for his controls, right? To run this carriage, right? You know what a carriage is? Think of it as like rails, like a train. And then there's a carriage that swings back and forth. And then logs get dropped into the carriage. Giant logs, could be as tall as you or I.
Yeah.
Usually not that big. And then there's a giant bandsaw that like takes slices off of that in a very controlled way. And they're trying to, again, increase, at the end of the day, make more money out of the existing piece. The same piece of wood a log could be broken down in many different ways. Mm-hmm. You're trying to optimize the value you get. Yeah. And there's different philosophies there. But there's typically what's called a sawyer, like the guy who can see it with his eyes and like make decisions. But as we know, people get tired, need vacation, whatever. Can make mistakes. Guess what? We're human. Mm-hmm. And so with these scanning systems, we're helping the operator doesn't necessarily go away, but it's saying, here's what I found is the best decision. He basically can just like watch the system. Like he has to run the actual machine physically, but it's telling him like, do this set. This is the optimal path, whatever. So anyways, we're there installing this. The carriage is already there. Everything's there. The scan frame is there. We're installing these scanners. So we're putting these scanners and there's like a whole row of them. It's kind of a cool thing. And we're running wires. I remember Ethernet. And you know Ethernet. If you cut it open, you look, there's a bunch of stuff inside. Yeah. Well, so it's cold outside and we're having to work with our hands to like wire up these fine little cables in this jammed space, making these connectors and like, connecting them to this cab. And I'm thinking like, why are we doing this in the field? Like, anyways, as an engineer, I'm starting to challenge things that are done like, well, that's the way it's always been done. So then I go back to the office and I'm like, what if, and then eventually the product that I have a patent on, the newest 3D scanner has one cable coming out, and I'm not taking the credit. There's a whole team of us engineers working on it, but I guess my point is just challenge the status quo and say, why do we need 4 cables? Mm-hmm. Why do we need the little cables, and why are we doing that step in the field? Let's solve that for our customers so that they can just plug it in and be done with it.
Yeah. Well, you have 100% more patents than I do.
And I've got one.
I don't think I'll have one. How'd you get into challenging the status quo then of the entire industry?
Kind of felt
because like, that is what you do present day.
Yeah. Well, so here, actually,
which is how we met.
Absolutely. So actually, I would say the start of what is today the wood world, the agency that we're building, Koval. I guess there's my personal brand. Mm-hmm. That's all what is present day. I never thought about becoming what you would call an influencer or whatever they would call us.
I still can't accept the term, but
yeah, I guess. But I'm signing contracts and they say you're an influencer, and I'm like, if that's what you want to call it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But anyways, back to that Pennsylvania project. As an engineer, I was there for the technical work to improve the product, to support the customer. But from a personal perspective, as a kid growing up, I always loved technology, computers, media, cameras. I got a picture of me with this like camcorder in the woods. I don't know what I was filming. It might have been us.
Probably trees.
It was trees. No, it was trees. It was us as a family going out to harvesting, like we were taking a Christmas tree home.
Uh-huh.
And like, I looked at that picture, I'm like, man, that's like prophecy. Like, anyway, so where was I going with that? 1 second. The Amish sawmill.
Yeah.
So going to this Amish sawmill, I'm like, hey, Joey, I want to shoot some content while I'm there. Because I was parallel to the whole college thing. I was involved in the media team at our church because I was fascinated with cameras. I don't know why. I really loved video. I loved media. I loved, now we call it like storytelling and all these like fancy terms, but I just wanted to shoot videos, and I don't know why I was attracted to that. Actually, that was a high school thing. I took a video class in high school because they had to choose an elective.
Sure.
That's kind of where the start of the media thing happened. And I got plugged into the media church I got plugged into the media team at our church. And early days, it was like tapes, like literally audio recordings on tapes that I was helping to make copies of. Then it was CDs, then it was DVDs, and then YouTube came out. So we started uploading content there. And we just kept, trying to stay current with the times in terms of technology. So we installed these robot cameras at the church. So I was there. I was plugged in, and I was making content there. So it wasn't foreign to me. So I was like, anyways, going to this Pennsylvania Amish sawmill, I had a couple of cameras with me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this is a fascinating process, like a very interesting process. Like, I'm fascinated, and I've seen a bunch of them. Why doesn't the world know about this industry, right?
Yeah, you'd seen a lot at this point, right?
Yeah.
Like a lot of sawmills.
It's significant. I've seen significantly more since, but at that point I was like, enough to, I was like, why isn't somebody like talking about this industry? And so very naturally, I have that video even still. I got hundreds of thousands of views on YouTube, on the Joe Scan YouTube channel. But it was this Amish sawmill, as I'm explaining, and there was a carriage head rig there, and there were scanners there, and I just like started shooting content. Like, I did the technical thing, and then I just got the cameras out and was like, got a couple of shots of how it was all running. I get back to the office, I make a little video, and people are telling me like, we've never seen the inside of a sawmill in 4K before. And I'm like, really? Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, that for some reason that stuck. And I don't remember who said it or where the context that was said, but I thought that was interesting. So I thought, well, there's big fancy companies all around in our industry. Somebody's got to take care of that problem, right? Like, I'm not worried about it. I'm here like making 3D scanners and better scanning technologies. Probably that's where the conception point of this whole project came from, was just the fact that there was really hardworking, really good, salt of the earth people who have convictions that really align with my own, that do amazing things and provide a very important. They're doing a very important job for all of us that take living in a home and walls and your studs for granted, or paper products in the bathroom like the hand towels, etc. So nobody really sees this industry for the way I see it. And so I'm getting this very unique opportunity to see it from the inside.
When did you go full-time with that?
That's a story in its own. That was 2017. I got forced to go into it on my own.
So you've been doing it. It's been quite a while now then.
Well,
it's
truthfully
about
speaking,
the same time I got started.
Yeah, but truthfully speaking, I didn't know what I was doing in business.
Yeah.
So I screwed up. I ran out of money.
Yeah.
And I was like, screw this. I'm going to go back to work. So here, I'll paint the picture quickly. I'm working in this technology company. We're building these 3D scanners. I'm getting involved in engineering. We're building the next generation of the product. We're scaling up. The company like buys a new building, bigger. We're expanding. I'm going to all these shows. I love it. And I genuinely enjoy it.
You're probably making pretty good money for your 20s too.
Yeah.
If I had to guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was more than enough, and a very, very gracious benefits package that came along with that, with like 401k and like Joey took care of his people. Yeah. So as I'm an engineer, I go to these trade shows. I meet this guy named Brian Fair. And at a trade show, you're wearing name badges, right? So this is probably, I'd say September of 2016. We're at another trade show. It was in Portland, Oregon. And I'm walking around, and I've got a lot of friends in the industry at this point. Well, some people I know, some I don't. And I'm this young guy. So I'm walking around. I've got a name badge. And I remember seeing a guy named Sean, who now has an amazing company called RPM, Real Performance Machinery. They're doing incredible things now. But Sean is standing there talking to someone else. I don't know who he is. And it's a cool story because thinking about it, that was another really big moment, catalyst to the story that you're asking about. So I approach Sean, and he's standing next to a gentleman who, I didn't know him. I don't know who he was. I just remember his outfit wasn't like super glamorous. It wasn't like, I didn't know. I had no idea who he was.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm literally here, wanted to say hello to Sean and wanted to engage in a conversation. But they're already talking, so I just come standing around. And then this guy that I don't know looks at my badge and says, he says, so the guy I don't know, his name is Brian. And he looks at my badge and says, Kovalev. My last name is Kovalev. And I'm like, yeah. And he says, do you like hockey? And I'm like, yeah. And I picked up on the Alexei Kovalev thing I told you about earlier.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, my dad's Alexei Kovalev. And his jaw just about hit the floor, dude. He's like, what are you doing here? Like, shouldn't you be out like practicing hockey or whatever? And I'm like, I let him like roll with it for a couple of seconds. And then I'm like, but my dad's Alexei Kovalev, but it's not the guy you're thinking about.
Different
and he
one.
just about explodes laughing, and he's just having a good old time. And he thought that was hilarious. And I still have no idea who this guy is. And he says, and then Sean in that conversation says, hey, Vadim, like Brian here was asking me about something about scanning, and should we do a lineal system or a transverse? And I'm like, well, I gave him my 2 cents, but I'm like, who am I? If you really want to talk to the guys who know a lot about it, like there's their booth, and I pointed him in that direction. And what else? Oh, and Brian is like, hey, we need young people. Like he picked up on the fact that I knew about my stuff about scanners and the problem he was trying to solve in one of the mills. And he goes, if you like hockey and like we need people like you, like we'd love to like give you a job, or he said something about recruiting. We're trying to recruit me to come work for him. And I'm like, oh no, I'm good. Like, I'm really happy with this engineering company I'm working at. And so like, he says, oh, well, if you like hockey, come up to Canada, to Vancouver, and we'll watch hockey together. And I'm like, I don't know you. I don't need a job. Thank you, but no thank you. Those are the guys that you want to go talk to. I'm trying to get with Sean. It kind of like blew him off. And joked around some. And I remember he kind of like walked away, but as he's walking away, he's still saying, hey, we need young people, would love to, talk with you. I'm like, yeah, thank you so much. And then I look over, and Sean's this really big burly guy. He's looking at me. He's like, do you have any idea who that was? And I'm like, Brian, that's how he introduced himself. He's like, yeah, turn around. You see this, the biggest booth on this trade show floor is a company called Bid Group. He's the B in Bid. Like, he owns the show. He's like the biggest baller on the show floor right now. I'm like, that guy? What? I was like, and then I got all kind of like scared because I'm like, well, I should have probably said other things, and I probably should have engaged with him or whatever.
Yeah, well, I guess I'm going to go watch hockey.
And that's what I thought.
Yeah.
And then my networking kind of superpowers or whatever, my brain's thinking about like, how do I get back engaged with that conversation, pick him up and take him up on his offer? Eventually I did. I went up to BC, and that was in the wintertime. Took some time off and went up for a weekend and watched hockey with him. He ends up being a really interesting, and still is, friend, mentor, advisor, customer. Like, anyways, this whole story unfolds where he says, I'm doing something that's never been done in this industry. I'll tell you what he says, spread your wings and fly here for a minute. And I was like, what are you talking about? Because I'm super satisfied at this engineering job. I don't need another job.
Yeah.
And so I'm up there literally to watch a hockey game. And we stay in, like, I've never seen lavish like this. And we're in his like penthouse, and it was cool, dude. I was like, who are you? Right. And so he's like, listen, I always need young people. You seem like you're sharp, you're bright, you know this stuff about our industry. We'll give you an amazing opportunity. Take this job offer from us. And he like in that visit to Canada, he gives me a job offer, and I'm like, no, I appreciate the hockey game, but I'm not manipulating anything. I'm just literally saying I'm not interested, which I guess bugs a guy like that when nobody says no to you. Like, what do you mean you're not interested? I'm like, well, no, I'm happy over here, and I got everything I need. I'm married, my wife's with me, and we're here together watching this hockey game. So I thought we're going to be friends. And anyways, and he's like, listen, I want to give you an opportunity to do something, come alongside me, and we're going to do some cool stuff together. And I'm like, cool. What do you mean? Like, I'm an engineer. You need another engineer? Or he asks me, what can you do? And I'm like, I'm an engineer. He's like, dude, I got hundreds of engineers working for me. I don't need another engineer. What else can you do? And I'm like, I like to shoot content. I shot some videos. He's like, you're going to make me a whole library of videos. And I'm like, sounds fun. Why? And I'm piecing this together now, Aaron, but like back then I had no idea what was going on. So I'll just fast forward, right? So Brian Fair, if you Google him, is a really big player in the sawmill industry in North America. He builds, now this is known, but back then I didn't know, or anybody really didn't know, but he saw a gap in the marketplace. Genius move. His father is they're from Canada, like Prince George, Vanderhoof area. Really cool story. He gets involved in building sawmill equipment in his early days with his dad. BID stood for Brian, Ike, and David. And Ike, the father, dies. David has health issues. So Brian is forced to take over the business. And they're doing construction and welding. He's a welder himself. And so it's fascinating how his stories unfold. But the genius move is such. If you're going to make an investment, regardless of what it is, especially high-level investment, like buying or building a sawmill, you need to have some key things locked in contracts, right? You need to know how much is it going to cost me? You need to know the production output of whatever thing you're going to be investing in, and a schedule, like what's the timeline that you're going to deliver. And guaranteeing those three things was his genius move. So basically so Brian is on his path to build turnkey sawmills. Never been done before in our industry. Typically, if somebody wants to build a sawmill or upgrade their equipment, they go to an equipment show and they're like, hey, I need a new debarker. Yeah. And then you go to that vendor, you make a deal, and you buy yourself a debarker. Then you got to figure out a contractor who's going to rip out the old one, put in the new one. But what if you want to build a new mill? If you want to build a new mill, you got to talk to a whole bunch of vendors, piece together a bunch of little deals together. Not little, I mean, these are millions of dollars, but I'm saying in a grand scheme of things, you're piecing together every piece of the puzzle. You got to hire a contractor who's going to oversee all of those contractors, but you don't get those three things locked in. So the turnkey approach is genius because he's selling a group of investors or an investor, a private company or a public, and selling them on, I'll build you a mill. It'll be running in less than a year. That's what we're going to get into right now. But I'll build you a mill. It'll be on time, on budget, and with this production locked in. And so that was the name of his game.
Yeah. So he goes and builds mills, makes a bunch of money. Do you end up going to work for him then? Yeah,
I took him up on that opportunity in 2017.
And so that's when you got that in doing content, not engineering.
Couldn't. So he's like, listen, I'm going to buy you, what cameras do you need? And I'm like, here, I'll send you a list. We buy the list of equipment. It was like a drone, a Sony camera, a couple of other knickknacks. And I'm out there shooting the content for his company to tell the story of, it was Two Rivers Lumber and Buer in Newton, Mississippi, were the two companies that I was like tasked with right away because they were basically getting going on construction. And so they're greenfield, which means like, here's a big field.
Brand new.
And in less than a year, there's a whole running operation. And he was the one who kind of did it and built his reputation all around. Brian Fair is the guy who builds turnkey sawmills in the United States.
So when do you go off and do it on your own then?
Well, I'm working there in the company, in the corporate structure, but I wanted to make sure that I achieved the goals that he set out to achieve, and it wasn't possible in the corporate structure. So for various reasons, long story short, he says, go start your own company and I'll hire you directly.
I see. And what year was that?
2017, fall time.
Oh, okay. Okay. So it really was. So you weren't there very long.
No.
That's kind of what I did with HCSS. It was like Mike Ryden, he's done very well for himself in construction software. He brought me in alongside Dan to do the I Build America stuff. And then I was like, I can't do this here. I need to go do this elsewhere. And then I Build America ended up paying me like a small contract afterwards to help them do stuff. And then I kind of just went off and did my own thing because they ended up winding it down. But it wasn't all that different. It was like this one guy that just had this like we need to promote the industry. It was less for them. It wasn't about what they did at all because they had a whole marketing department. It was all about let's just promote our customers, which was super cool. And then I saw that as the opportunity. I was like, well, I need to go do this on my own without the boundaries, which is harder, but a lot more freedom. I've always been interested in what you're doing too, because the wood products world has a huge problem.
It does.
A giant problem. And I don't think they totally are accepting of that quite yet.
Nope.
Mining, I say that because mining's the same way. Like they're almost ignoring the problem in a way.
Trying to.
Yeah, but it's like, like there's you only have so much sand in the hourglass here, and it's starting to get pretty slim up top there. And so I mean it's I think we started talking because it's a similar problem. That is, listen, this is an essential industry that everybody needs to live their daily lives, to be comfortable, like to live in a house, to have toilet paper, to get anything ordered from the internet. This is really important to day-to-day life.
Yep.
But no one knows about it, and that's our fault. And we can sit here, and then not only that, but no one knows about it. And we have been full-on assaulted by environmental groups that start at the school level from you learn about deforestation as like a kindergartner. Yeah. I mean, like right away.
Yep.
They're teaching you like cutting down a tree is the greatest sin you can commit to planet Earth. Like that, for whatever reason, trees to us are just like the no-go thing. You've got to save the trees, and all the trees are getting cut down. And the place it's going to hell in a handbasket. Like it's dire. This is terrible stuff.
Yeah.
And then you start to learn like, well, the United States, we did screw up the whole forestry thing for quite a while. I mean, like especially West Coast, we're like, let's just go after all the big trees
and murder the big trees.
Let's murder everything. So like almost the entirety of old growth is gone. Past transgressions, but then we said, well, let's save what's left, thank goodness, and then let's also do this more responsibly.
Yeah.
And since tree growth has been positive for 4 decades.
Yeah, there's more trees today in America than there was 100 years ago,
which is crazy. It's crazy.
And for every one that we cut, I thought it was 3. I just got corrected. 5 are planted for every one that's cut down.
But this. It's similar to mining. Like the mining leaders are like, well, we don't really want to deal with these environmentalists. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go over here in our hole.
Yeah.
And we're going to stick to our hole.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about it. We're going to hide back here.
Yeah.
And it should be fine, right? Like we're not.
Keep out of the limelight.
Yeah. We're just going to keep away. We're not going to talk about it.
Right.
We're not going to engage with them, and it'll be no problem. Well, it's ended up becoming a huge problem.
It's massive.
Yeah, because you just like you surrender the entire narrative to these other groups that can take it and wield it in some pretty potent ways. California being a great example of how it's been wielded to just a dramatic detriment.
Yeah.
The Northwest, Pacific Northwest, I mean, there's still a lot of logging, but boy, has it been decimated in a lot of ways because of largely the narrative and largely these environmental groups wielding that narrative in whatever ways they want to. And mining's the same way. It's like, you know enough to like see the headlines and know it's complete nonsense. You're like, well, I know we could produce everything here. Like, I know production here is not a problem. Absolutely. Sustainable production. Yeah, and it's in our best interest. Like, we should produce what we consume if we can. And we can, because the United States is blessed with more natural resources than just about any country in the entire world. We've got everything here, which is crazy. We've got oil and gas. We've got wood. We've got every mineral you need. We've got everything, but we don't like to touch it. We like to go get it from elsewhere because we can.
So you're touching on something that I've thought a lot about, and
it's your whole world.
It's beyond wood. It's beyond trees. It's beyond dirt.
It's a whole built environment.
Listen, if I could, I'm going to show you a passage. If we go back to my lion, if we go back to Genesis, if we go to Genesis chapter 1, it's the first chapter of the Bible. And I don't really care where people stand in terms of their own faith, but I think this aligns with how you get to this point, what I'm about to share. It's deeper for me than just a business. It's deeper to me personally than I'm trying to make $1. I think all that comes and it's all secondary. But like truthfully, deeply for me personally, I go back and you remember when you introduced me to the Olympic Logging Conference? They offered you to speak there, and I took that gig, so thank you so much.
Yeah, sure.
So I went up there and I'm on stage in front of the leaders of the logging part of the logging industry in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, it's a big group.
It's a couple hundred people in the audience.
Yeah.
And I'm invited as keynote speaker. And this was exactly the passage. So whether it's in a one-on-one conversation or in front of a stage, I use this verse to explain everything that we just talked about. And I have specific words I'm using to be able to explain it. So let me read the passage and then kind of come back to it. So Genesis 1:27 reads, "So God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him. Male and female, he created them." And here's the key passage. "And God blessed them and said to them, be fruitful, multiply, fill the earth, and subdue it. And have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the heavens, and over every living thing that moves on the earth. And God said, behold, I have given you every plant yielding seed that is on the face of all the earth, and every tree with seed in its fruit, and you should have them for food." And it just keeps going on and on. But in verse 28, there's a word, subdue. So we, the people put on this planet, are given an instruction, go subdue it. So what does that mean? And I tell people right off stage, I ask that question. I was like, what does that mean to subdue? What do you think subdue means?
I mean, it can go a bunch of different ways.
It does go a bunch of different ways, doesn't it?
I think in natural resources, though, it's utilize effectively.
Be good stewards.
Yes. Yeah.
So, but before I explain what it is, I want to explain what it does not mean. And so I've been to, for example, the Congo in Africa last August. Talking to people there is extremes of everything, right? So when we talk about subdue, there's two crazy extremes that I observed as I crossed the planet back and forth. In Africa, it actually had to do more with mining, but it's natural resources. There's exploitation. Keyword, exploitation.
Yeah.
I say that's one far extreme of subdue, is to exploit. We're not called to, I don't believe we're called to subdue, meaning exploit. And there's a other extreme, which I would say is idolizing the natural resource. And so in Africa, you've got crazy things happening where other countries come in, dig out the valuables, throw some pennies at the farmers that own the land, mining, for example, and extract all the good stuff and run away with it.
Yeah.
I feel like that's exploitation. We should not be doing that.
Yeah.
Same thing applies around the world. People mention Amazon.
We consume it, but we're the consumer, but that's beside the point.
Or when
we don't talk about that.
When I walked around Nashville on Broadway, people are talking about deforestation, and I'm like, where is it happening? Oh, in the Amazon rainforest. Okay, well, I've not been to the Amazon rainforest. I do believe there are forms of exploitation happening around the planet, whether it's in forestry or others. So that's not what we're called to do. We're not called to exploit. And the other extreme that I've then figured out for myself as I looked at that, I'm like, hold on a second. What goes both ways? The other extreme is, if we speak about forestry in California, for example, to oversimplify it, let's lock up the gate to the forest and let Mother Nature take care of the forest. We're going to stay out of it. We're not going to cut it. We're not going to do anything with it. Let nature do nature.
Yes.
Guess what happens?
Yeah. But that's
fires.
But that's the people in San Francisco and Sacramento that live in the cities. They're gonna make that decision for the people that actually live within the forest,
brother.
Which I think is the great irony of it. It's like, I've never seen the people that care most about the forest are the people that depend on the forest to feed their families, is what I've experienced. Like the people, the loggers that are closest to the forest, they work in the forest. They're there every day. They feed their families with the forest. They provide for society with the forest. They're the ones that care about it, because if they go clear cut the whole place, well, then there's no more to harvest. They have to, like, replanting is just as important as cutting, because
100%.
That's the future.
Yes. Yeah. It's even from a capitalistic perspective.
Yeah.
It's in your best interest to manage the forests in the United States. It really, really saddens me what's going on in British Columbia right now. I have a lot of friends in BC and Canada. I know families and people that live kind of like in rural places in BC, for example. And think about it like this. Imagine a sawmill. They're usually in a rural place, and they're making something that's a natural resource into something that's very valuable and shipping it, right? So they're making a natural resource, converting it into economic value.
Yeah.
And so with regulation and policy that's happening in BC or in Canada right now, they're preventing fiber supply getting to those mills, which means they're squashing the whole industry. Guess how a little town operates? How do you get people to spend money in a grocery store? Where do they get that money? They're probably working at a little sawmill.
Yeah. But BC is similar to California in that Vancouver runs BC. And most everybody in BC is not happy about that. They resent Vancouver for sure. Vancouver resents everybody else that's not in Vancouver. It's really weird. It's very similar to California. It's similar to any. Yeah, Alberta really resents Vancouver and BC in general, which is really funny, just how much they go out of the way to talk shit about it. But it's the same thing. Yeah. It's just like this, it's this self-inflicted pain for no good reason. Like it's just, but like going back to what you're doing and what I'm doing is there's so to pretend like you're just a victim is terrible because it removes all agency. And so it doesn't just say, well, I've had no part in this happening, but I have no part in changing this going forward. But a lot of the industry to me is just this victim. Oh, we're just these victims. And it's a lot of pandering to then these groups that are completely unreasonable on the outside. And it's a lot of like, poor me. Whereas it's like, to me, and maybe it has just happened to mining or natural resources, forestry, but it's like, well, who else is gonna, like, we're toying with the fabric of society here. Like, this isn't money. It is, but this is the fabric of society we're playing with right now. So that's what's at stake, like the future. And so, okay, congratulations, Mr. So-and-so, Mr. Mining so-and-so, or wood so-and-so. You've made a shitload of money. You're good to go. Great. But what about the rest of us? What about your kids? What about their kids? Like, what about the whole future here? What about the United States of America? What happens then? Like, you're not around for all that much longer.
Yeah.
And then what? Well, we need resources. We need infrastructure. We need to be good stewards of our society. It's big picture. And so these people, they've done well, but it's like, we can't just sit around and blame people. We've got to do something about this because no one else is going to do anything about this. Like we've just been sitting around waiting for somebody else to stand up for us. And it's almost, I get it. Like it's coming from a genuine place, but it's almost frustrating when people are like, they're thanking me for what I'm doing. Cause it's like, I'm just one guy. Like I'm not going to go figure this out for everybody. Are you kidding me? No way. I'll do my part. But we need everybody to do their part.
Absolutely.
If you don't do your part, it's not going to change. Mm-hmm. And if it doesn't change, we are fucked, for lack of a better term. Like, congratulations again. You've made your money. You're good to go. But we're in big trouble. Like this is what, gets me frustrated and fires it up because it's like, can you just get out of your way? Can you get out of the way? Get out of your own way? Like, we're playing with something that shouldn't be played with. Like this is not this little game over here. Like this is the future we're playing with.
Yeah.
And it pisses me off because it's like, well, I'm 30. I've got a lot more of this to deal with than you do. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I've got to clean up some of your mess. Like, and I've got to get on with it. And you're still in the way of that. Can you at least just not be in the way?
Yeah.
Like, you don't even need to help. I don't even need anything other than you just not obstructing. Like that's it. But yet you're still obstructing. And that's what drives me nuts. It's,
your own industry people obstructing you.
The establishment, the gatekeepers, those that have been around a while. And it's like, I appreciate what you've done, but at least just don't get in the way. Like this because
I'm curious how do your people get in the way? Because I have a lot of similar experiences in my industry, in our wood world.
I mean, just simply put, like, no, you can't access. We don't want to have you. It's like, okay, like why? Oh, it's against our corporate policy. Against your corporate policy? Like, the fuck does that even mean? Like, it's just against your corporate policy? Like that one drives me nuts because it's just complete nonsense. From
I kind of get it, right? Like we're dealing with really heavy industry, and they don't want somebody to see something on the internet and then be holding them liable for an OSHA violation or something like that.
I get it, but one, I can't find a single example of somebody actually getting an OSHA violation off something on the internet. If I'm happy to be proven wrong,
I'll show you one to you.
Haven't found an example of that. It's really hard to cite somebody based off a photo or video on the internet. But two, it's like they're at the table with me. I'm not there to go catch them on anything. Like you can approve everything I fucking do.
I want to help you.
Yeah, you have your lawyers look at it. Like I'm here to help.
Yeah.
And you still don't want that.
Yeah.
But then you're gonna go complain about how you can't find workforce and how you can't get permits and how everybody hates you because they do. They hate you. They hate you when they need you, but they hate you. And that's your fault.
Like the general public, you're saying?
Yes. And it's such a shame. It's so sad. And I'm still very optimistic. Like, again, I'm young. So all I have to do is outweight these people. Because it's like, your retirement date is a lot sooner than mine. And once you go, now, all right, let's go. And that's already worked with companies. It's like one guy retires and you're like, yes.
Change of the guard.
Ralph is gone. Like, see you, Ralph. I hope you have a great retirement.
Yep.
But fuck you. Now we can get on with it.
Yeah.
And it's like, yes, this is great. And I again, it's like, I respect what has got us here and who has got us here and how much effort they've put in to get us here. But the world is changing. The world is changing very quickly. And we are toying with something right now that just should not be toyed with. And that's what keeps me up at night.
Agreed. And I'm right there with you.
Yeah. I think we're fighting that battle from two different perspectives, but it's the exact same battle.
Yeah. Which is why I feel
resources.
like, Yep. And I'm really aligned with what you're doing and getting to the point where you're reaching a lot of people and sharing that message genuinely to show them. Last week, I was in one of these industry groups in our industry, right? There was it was called SLMA. We got together and I have some content there where I was shooting content with the younger folks now. Change of the guard is happening, like you talking about. Mm-hmm. And so I'm shooting content, and this guy, Vince Jordan, younger fella, his family has a large sawmill, Jordan Lumber Company. And I'm asking him really straightforward questions. I'm like, so what can young people make in this industry? And it's bananas, dude. In a rural place in the South, to be able to make $100,000+ a year to be in the trade, and they're going to help you, or other companies in our industry are building. I was with a gentleman named Finley McRae. Mr. Finley owns a handful of sawmills involved in CLT mass timber production in the South. And I'm asking him what his challenges are, and it's people, right? Yeah. And so I'm saying, well, how do you go about solving it? And different people are doing different things. He bought an elementary school building that was vacant, and they're converting it into a training center. And I'm like, why are you doing that? Can I go see it? And the general manager, Rod, took me over there. It's incredible to see they're taking steps, but that's like local, like that's for 5 companies. But the problem is much bigger, and it's at scale.
Well, it's a macro problem, and even then, like the workforce is demoralized because they're told that they're the bad guys. Like when you're made into the bad guy, like you have society on your back, and yet you're demonized for it. Mm-hmm. What's the point? Like, me as, if I'm a 20 something, like, why would I want to get into a career like that? That sucks. Like that sucks. And there's this demoralization of the whole industry as a result. And you can feel it. I mean, I'm sure there's this immense sense of pride. Yeah. But you can feel it. Like I go out to these mining sites, especially in the States. Yep. A lot of them are pretty miserable. I've been to some great ones too. Like, shout out to NACO, North American Coal, class acts, Rio Tinto, Kennecott. Like there's some great ones. Yes. But then there's also these ones. It's like, who died? Like why is everybody so bummed out to be here? And one, I think it's the work schedule. The work schedule's sometimes crazy. But 2, I think there's just been this overall demoralization of these industries as well. If you're in the resource industries. Yeah, I have. You are the reason for global warming. Yep. You are killing the trees. Mm-hmm. You are killing the animals. Yes. You're destroying everything. So, and the way I explain it to my own industry right now is, listen, you've got employees. How do you get employees today? They're like, word of mouth. Great. Yeah. Well, let's play this out. Imagine your best employee that works the debarker, literally a machine that rips the bark off the log at the front end of a sawmill. Okay. He goes home for the weekend, and they're doing a barbecue. He's going to meet somebody at that barbecue who doesn't know him. What's the first question, Aaron, that they're going to ask him? What do you do? I rip the bark off of trees. How sexy does that sound? Yeah. You see what I'm saying with that? So you kill the environment. Oh, no, well, how are your kids doing? And they'll kind of like run into another topic to kind of dodge it. And I'm saying, you, Mr. Sawmill owner, understand very well how that is critical to the person that we're talking to has a roof over their head because of the lumber that's used to build the trusses that hold the frickin' roof over his head. Yeah. And the bed that he wakes up in, guess what the frame of the bed is made of? Oh, wood? Oh, guess what? You're going to go take a number 2, and guess what you're going to use there? Toilet paper? Oh, guess what? You just ordered stuff from Amazon. Guess what? It's going to show up at your front door. In a cardboard box? Guess where that came from? Yeah. And on and on and on and on. And that gets me wound up because my point is like, arm your people with a story about your company so that they understand how they play a key role in this company. That's company culture. Yeah. And how your company plays a key role in sustainable wood products manufacturing in your region that provides all these necessary things for the person he's talking to. And imagine the shift in the conversation if the person that's asking, what do you do? Yeah. Receives a, do you like living in your house?
Do you enjoy toilet paper?
Yeah, and even just give them the basic facts, because it's not their fault. Like that misunderstanding, you just can't blame people for that misunderstanding. They're like, I'm telling you, the propaganda, the tree propaganda arm of the world is really strong.
It is.
I mean, I don't know what it is about it, but every time I put a tree getting felled in whatever capacity, whatever way on the internet, I guaranteed so many comments about how they're killing the planet.
Yeah.
Just like clockwork. And I'm just sitting there. I'm like, trees grow back, right? Like you can plant them and then they turn into new trees.
And the new trees absorb carbon faster than the old trees.
Well, there is that. Yes. Yeah. But we're not going to talk about that because you're killing the trees. Yeah. Like it's just such a silly argument that's so easy to unravel, like with basic information, really basic information. Yeah. But yeah, I tell people it's like, you don't even need to be on social media. It's just like, just tell the damn story about the industry, and give your people that information so that they can tell the story too. Like, there's a lot of people working within wood within the United States. It's still a very big industry. If all those people have a cohesive narrative, that's how you win. But until that happens, no way. And you have to change it big picture, because even these political wins, the political wins change. They change.
They do.
There's a new administration sometimes every 4 years.
Yep.
So there's like big wins right now in resources and minerals. Mm-hmm. This is what happened. And it's like, I'm sitting here, I'm like, well, it's probably not even that big of a win, because so now it goes over here. There was a mine. It had its permit squared away. New administration comes in. Fuck you and your permits. They're like, well, what do you mean? They're like, you don't have them anymore. And what are you going to do about it? Are you going to sue us? Okay, we'll see you in court. So they go to court, whatever, this and this and that. Federal government's like, you're not going to get the federal government to do whatever they don't want to do. New administration comes in 4 years later. Hey, how about those permits? You want those? Yeah, we'd love those. All right, cool. And then what happens? 4 years later, it's just, and then state governments are even worse. Like state governments are ebbing and flowing all the time. And then different counties, like there's all kinds of complexities there.
Yeah.
The only way to battle against that is with a long-standing narrative. Mm-hmm. That's how you do it. There's no other way. You can go spend all this money with these politicians. Mm-hmm. They're not that good for all that long. Like that's not a sustainable strategy. And is lobbying, can lobbying create some kind of change? Sure, potentially. I don't know. I'm not a big believer in it, but I don't think that's like the game plan. And that to me, like the resource industries, it's like, that's the game plan. We're going to go to Washington. I'm like, wow, how's that been going for you? Like the industry has been getting murdered for decades now. How's that going for you? Like, is it working out? Like, I don't see resources flourishing here. I don't see everything booming. So is it working out? I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe I'm just a dum-dum, which is possible. I am a dum-dum, but it's just, it's a shame.
One thing I want to make a comment back a couple of thoughts ago. Well, first of all, on the current thing, if there's so much misconceptions about our industry, and there's plenty about our industry, probably about yours as well, I feel like we can call that darkness. And as the Bible says, we can shine a light to clarify things. And genuinely, from the stage, one-on-one, I keep saying and preaching that message of, let's be more transparent as an industry rather than less transparent, because all we have to do is show the world what we actually are doing, which is all above board and perfectly legal and with the permits, and like we're doing good forestry and we're harvesting sustainably and we're doing good things. I'm talking about the US right now, places that I've been to. And that's kind of one thought there is like, let's be the light to shine a light on it's not that I'm creating a narrative or taking a side. No, I'm just trying to like go out there and be like, can you tell me your story?
Yeah.
What are you doing? And I've never had errand people say to me, well, we can't go back to this corner. Make sure you don't keep all these things, keep all your cameras and crews away from this part of our operation because we're doing something wrong back there. I've never heard that before. Like, so it's like, well, what are you hiding then, to your point? Oh, we don't want the competitors to see us. Your competitors go to the trade shows and see exactly the same machines that you have.
It's that sometimes it's really, we're scared of the lawyers. It's like, okay, so we're going to go, this is dramatic, but it is what's happening. We're going to go jeopardize the future of our country because of the lawyers. That's what we're going to do.
What about the lawyers?
The lawyers are going to come get you.
For what?
They're going to get you.
Is it the boogeyman?
Yeah, they're going to get you. They're going to get you. They're coming for you. If we go put that stuff out there, the lawyers are going to get us.
Yeah.
They're coming. And the environmental groups do weaponize law big time. Big time. They love that done. They love that one. The lawfare thing is legit. And it will happen for sure. But again, like, I don't see another option. And like you said, it is above board. I mean, even like some of the mining and the reclamation I get to see is spectacular.
Right?
I had no idea. Like, I thought you guys just destroyed everything. But even I'm like, wow, this is fantastic.
Right.
This is really good stuff.
Yeah. One more comment. The other thought I had, you mentioned that I've thought about this enough and journaled about it and prayed about it and talked to enough people where I feel like I'm putting together, trying to simplify what we talked about earlier, where you were saying the deforestation topic is taught from an early age. And I feel like the way I would explain it in simple terms is I've identified a logical fallacy in the general public, which is this. If you've got a tree, it's a beautiful tree. It provides shade. It's giving us oxygen. What else? Benefits of a tree. It's beautiful. Mm-hmm. You can go camping and enjoy the forests, right? Mm-hmm. And so on and on and on. There's so many great things about a tree that's alive, and I love those things too. I enjoy taking the kids to the park and go camping, etc. Okay, so now if we fell this tree, the logical fallacy is those things are no longer true. Therefore, felling a tree is a bad thing. Mm-hmm. And they don't even consider that there's going to be, like, I was in, there's a new sawmill in California, Sequoia Forest Products, on coastal California. And they're going to be cutting redwood for fences. Mm-hmm. Very cool. Modern operation, brand new technology getting installed. And it's running already, making redwood fencing. And you might think, like, are they harvesting those big sequoia trees? Well, no, they aren't. If you really dig into it, it's a very amazing process. And there's I've got this guy on my podcast once. There's PhDs in our industry that are just studying like seeds or seedlings and like are so much thought and effort and is going into how do we plant? How do we harvest? How do we maximize the benefit for the environment? These people are part of our industry. I would like to say that our industry, we are the environmentalists. Mm-hmm. We've got the PhDs that are studying. We've got the forest practices and the management.
Well, and there's oftentimes more environmental research within that
That's what
industry,
I'm trying to say.
Yeah, than anywhere else.
Yeah. And so all these groups that are like trying to block a timber sale because they'll take you to court and they'll say whatever, and there's a lawfare going on or whatever you called it. So yeah, that is happening. But it's like, let's just shine a light on this whole. Like, I guess it's maybe hard for people to like zoom out from like they're stuck right here. Yeah. But like, just let's go a level higher, or let's go to the 30,000 bird's eye view and look at this whole thing like holistically. Mm-hmm.
And I'm happy to be wrong on this solution too. I've never said this is the solution, but it's like, show me a better one. I'll go along with it. Yeah. Until you show me a better one, this is the play I'm going to run.
What's that?
Telling the story, showing people what the heck goes on. It's like, it's not that simple, but it is kind of that simple.
So how do you do it practically? How are you helping the dirt industry solve their issues today?
With a camera. With words, with a podcast.
Yep.
But it was good. This is the first time we've podcasted. We've talked a bunch, but first time we've actually.
Yeah, this is incredible.
in
Thank
this
you for
format.
the space, time,
Yeah.
invitation.
Thanks for coming.
Yep.
And hopefully we see you out in the woods one of these days.
Let's do it. I want to go to one of your cool operations as well.
Yeah, I'll show you some dirt. You can see some woods. There's actually the one that has both is North American coal in Mississippi,
Okay.
because it's all pine
Mhm.
there. So a lot of their reclaimed land is cultivated pine, because they have to prove that the land, when they reclaim it, once they mine the coal and following reclamation, they have to prove that the land is as good, if not better, more productive than what was there.
Mm-hmm.
And so they grow things on it to prove its productivity.
Makes sense.
And so they grow a lot of pine.
I
So
love
they
it.
have these beautiful pine stands that have been growing for quite a while now, because the land was mined decades ago. And it's all on coal.
Wow.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Would love to see it.
Beautiful. Well, maybe one day. Until then, thanks for coming by. And
Thank you so much for having me.